Hi everyone and welcome to a new video showing my entire process for making a shadow box. And there are some changes because from this video onwards you're no longer going to see me trace the layout from tracing paper because I have finally decided to join the 21st century and I have begun to do my layouts on the computer with a graphic tablet. So this is a preview of the layout. Once I traced it all already. I'd drawn it all. I've separated it into layers, and then the nice thing about doing it digitally is that I can do this. I can arrange it in shadow form, and so I can get a better idea of how it's going to look in the final product. So instead of seeing me trace, you're going to see the little preview, and then we're going to jump straight into the cutting. So here we go, let's get started. So this is a layout that is taken straight from a manga cover of Fullmetal Alchemist, which is one of my favorite animes ever. This is also a layout that I've done the most. I think this is the third time I've done this exact layout, except more detailed, I guess, than before. And it's also it has a bit of nostalgia value for me because when I first started making shadow boxes, this drawing was the first time that I made a shadow box without following a pre-made template. You know, one of those you can download that already gives you all the layers and where to cut and how to cut. And this was the first one that I made, just took a picture and tried to make it work. Which is also why I chose to do this for the first time that I did a drawing digitally instead of on tracing paper, because it's a completely new program. It's a completely new set of skills that I never learned before, so I thought I'm going to be busy trying to figure out how to make a layout work on the program with the tablet. So let's take something that I'm very familiar with, that I already know how it's supposed to look and how it's supposed to work, so I can just focus on getting the drawing right. Which, the line quality isn't great. You might have seen that a bit in the preview, you might see it a bit here, because I didn't understand that you had to pick your brushes and that you had to be careful about stuff like brush sensitivity. I also didn't understand about pixel size and stuff like that, so when I made it bigger, it pixelated a bit. I get better afterwards. I do it better later on. This was my first attempt. I'm gonna be kind to myself and say it's not bad for a first attempt. And also, it's also a lot more straightforward than some of the stuff I do later on, because this is just a matter of following the original picture and deciding which elements to put on which layer. And there are several ways you can play with all of the debris, like all of those things flying towards the characters. You can decide to have the two characters as the first two layers, and then have all the debris in the background. You can mix and match which layer of debris goes in front of which characters. What I found worked best, in my opinion, is to have one layer of debris, one character, another layer of debris, another character, a third layer of debris, and then the circle at the back. Because then it gives you a nice sense of the debris is flowing from all, it's coming in from all sides, it's coming in from afar, from close up, and it's all being drawn towards the center. So it gives you a better sense of depth. I also hesitated with making the characters more detailed. You can see here Al and also Ed when I cut him earlier. You can see that they're just silhouettes, and the only details I've got for them is the fingers for Al and the hands for Ed, and the stone, obviously. And it might, if I end up making this box a fourth time, maybe that's something I can play with, giving them a bit more detail as well. Because I did like the contrast between the very detailed background, the debris, all the little things, versus the simplicity of just a straight, solid silhouette for the characters, which makes them stand out a little bit more. It also makes the hands and the stones on Ed stand out a bit more. But there might be some wiggle room to give them maybe a few like clarifying lines, maybe indicate where the coat is, or like the general shapes of the armor. So that could be something to be played with. And the advantage to having something having the digital layout already is that if I do revisit this, it's going to take a lot less time because the drawing's already done and it's already there. That was like, I had two reasons for wanting to learn how to do my layouts digitally. The first one was saving time, because when you're tracing it on paper, you essentially do the drawing 2 to 3 times. You draw it one time on the tracing paper, you draw it a second time when you trace it onto each of your layers, and then sometimes you draw it a third time if you want to fix the drawing once it's on paper. Whereas if you do it digitally, you just draw it once, you figure out all your layers as you go, and then you print it, and that's it, you're ready to go. So it saves a lot of time. And the other advantage is that you can figure out your layers much more easily, because when you do everything on one single sheet on paper, it can get really confusing. You get lines overlapping, especially when you have intricate drawings, as I tend to do. You're like, hold on, what layer does this line belong to? Where is it supposed to go? Like, is this part of a character? Is this part of a background? I am so confused. So being able to organize your layers as you draw and hide some so you can work on a specific one is incredibly useful, and it's made my life a lot easier. So I'm very grateful for that technology and for having access to a graphic tablet. I didn't talk about the frame making process at all. You saw me there making the frame. And this is me cutting layers of foam that I paste behind each layer of paper to separate the layers and to give the box a bit more depth and allow the light to shine through. I usually make it at the very end, but I add a blank sheet of paper at the back, usually thinner paper, so that you don't see the back of the box, that it hides the LEDs, and it also diffuses the light, allows it to shine through evenly throughout the box and not give any spots that are too bright. I don't remember if you'll see me do it here. Oh, there we go. And adding the LEDs, and it's done. Here's the final product. Again, I've done this 3 times now, so I can say that I'm pleased with it, but I already knew that I would be pleased with it. And the only thing I can say is I can tell that my cutting technique's gone a little better, because the shapes are nice and sharp, the details are nice and sharp. The lines holding the stone in the middle are thinner than they used to be, so in a way it's a nice benchmark to see how much like the improvements that I've done, so that's always nice. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you want to see every single steps involved in making this box in a less sped up, more relaxed fashion with no commentary, just music, you can check out my step-by-step video on the Fullmetal Alchemist box. That's on my channel. This box is already sold, but feel free to click through to my Etsy channel to see what else I've got on sale. You can also contact me if you would like your own custom box. And you can also follow me on Instagram, link in the description. Give this video a like, give it a comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos of that nature. And in the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time!